Hello everybody. Welcome to the first day of the February month of the 2026. How's everybody doing? Kevin Chan here as usual, 7:30 in the morning, and today we're gonna cover the first 10-day master forecast for the year of the horse. Yes, we have finally entered the year of the horse. For so long ago now, we need to announce that haven't yet, right? So yeah, we are transitioning officially into the year of the horse on the 4th of February, and this is going to be the first of the forecast that talk about the fire horse year, first month of the fire horse year, which is the metal tiger. So the metal tiger, you can imagine, is like a tree being chopped by the metal on top, tree at the bottom, right? Right. So I have invited our Captain America here, who is chopping tree. If you see the movie, you know that he used his hand to break the tree instead of using the axe. All right, so this is the month of the Geng Ying, right? So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. I can see that Peter Xia came in, Kahing came in, Manuel came in, Nisampa came in, Chang came in, Sabrina Tan came in, right? So how are you guys all doing? Right, so like a blink of an eye, really like a blink of an eye, the month of January has already reached its end. Not say don't scary, right? So the year has been passing really fast, right? So of course, you know, we are going into the month of Chinese New Year for the rest of you who are not familiar with. So Malaysia has set a new record for Chinese New Year. This year we got 400 over Chinese songs. Right, over 400 Chinese New Year song has been created in Malaysia. Right, even primary school children have their Chinese New Year song. What else you want to say? Primary school children also can make songs nowadays. Powerful year, right? So come, let's go in and take a look, you know, what is in store for us for the first month of the year of the fire horse, and see that, you know, how you can fully leverage on the energy of the first month in terms of helping you to build up your momentum for the rest of the year. Change to the tiny screen first. Yay. Here we are at the tiny screen. So this is the what we call if you have not gotten your Bazi chart printed, assuming that you guys are not new, right? So if you guys are all been around for very long already, you would have your Bazi chart printed, but this is just in case for those of you who are very new, right? You know, your friend has sent the link to you the first time watching this, right? So you've seen it pop up in your friends like, you know, so, you know, your friends share it over to you, and no idea where to get your Bazi chart printed, right? So this is the one that I'm using right now, the plotter, which is Typing Astro. So you can just scan the QR code or go into Typing Astro itself. Register a free account, then you can print your Bazi chart out. So Bazi chart basically is just a translation of your birth date, your English Gregorian birth date, right? It will translate it into how ancient Chinese would have written your birth date. This is how ancient Chinese write your birth date. Nothing more than that, you know. Don't feel like, oh no, it's something magical. Nothing magical about it. You still got a year, you still got a month, you still got a day, you still got an hour. So if you, for some reason, you don't remember what time you were born, it's okay. You can skip the hours. There's actually an option to say that you don't know your hours, right? So then you will only have year, month, day. You don't have the hour, right? So because for this particular session, we're gonna use the day, right? So the day is this one. It's called the DayMaster. Right, so there are 10 of them, and we're going to go through all 10 of these DayMaster. That will give you a reference of what is instilled or installed for you for the month of February of the year of the fire horse, right? So this gives you a bit of a forecast, and then you can do a little bit of tweaking and planning in terms of the activity that you have already planned for yourself. All right, so next one, if you take a look at it, so this is the first month of the entire year. So these are all the pillars for the entire year. So now you can start to what we call do a bit of a planning on it, right? So the fire energy actually reaches peak for this particular year is around June, right? So because of the wood horse, right? So the wood horse, the wood itself would further enhance the power of fire. So you would see that the most intense period of the entire fire period would be around your June until your October, right? That is where the, you know, entire suits of fire basically is, right? So those are the what we call the hot period. Okay, right? So anything were to happen is going to be between those area, right? So right now we are slowly building up into that particular position. So right now you can see that is the metal wood, right? So you can imagine this is where the wood cutter start to chop firewood and start to, you know, get ready the firewood to be burned. All right, okay, come, let's move in again to take a look at it, right? So the auxiliary staff for this particular month, right? So you only got one auxiliary staff, which is study hall. So study hall is good for, as the name suggests, right? So it's good for studying. It's actually more helpful for research rather than learning, right? So it is more helpful for research related purpose, which means that is to collect stuff. Right, so when you collect stuff is that you're just noting down everything, you're not processing anything at all, right? So when you talk about really studying, you are trying to process the information. So right now it's basically just gathering and noting information, right? So if you are an information gatherer, hello, Tosan, Gigi, right? So if you are an information gatherer, then this month is good, right? So you are those people who, you know, collect information, rearrange them and stuff like that, whatever it is, right? So it is that type of month, right? So normal circumstances mean this month is a rather boring month. Boring month, safe month, you know, everything is basically, you know, pretty much good old, right? So yeah, it's a very good month for you to get everything ready, or, you know, to actually launch something, right? So because at least there are not much of a what we call a problem given to you. Right, so next, yes, my Thailand trip, we got another 10 more space left only, right? So for those of you who want to sign up, you know, please sign up quickly, right? So that, you know, don't halfway down the road only tell me, oh, now only I'm free, right? So, yeah, but so all the arrangement has already been done ready for those of you who are looking for a trip in 2026. To enlighten yourself in terms of the art of Feng Shui. So we will go over to China there to learn about how the emperor set up their Feng Shui. Right, so, you know, one of the highlight is going to a place where many of the emperor from different dynasty has gone to renew their heaven mandate. So we will also be doing the heaven mandate renewal sort of like ritual, right? So sort of like ritual, which I will teach you how to write the heaven mandate. Interesting, no? Interesting activity, right? So we'll go there to take a look at that, right? So that it will assist you in terms of your coming years in building your own empire. And more importantly, there will be a session, online session that I'll be doing to explain the Feng Shui of the Forbidden City. So that one is very, very interesting, right? So it is actually built using a certain formulas. And to know that at that particular time, with such a rudimental measuring ability that can measure the entire place into such pristine accuracy, you have to give it to them. Pretty good, right? So now for those of you who are looking for such a trip in the year of 2026, right? So it's on the 30th August to 7th September, right? So you can come in and sign up together with the trips. Right, so, and of course, you know, as usual, getting in touch with me, any question that you want to ask about the trips or about anything else, you know, you can go through Telegram. The newsletter is again an email service, right? So, you know, you get the email anytime I publish anything at all, right? So predominantly this one I'm using it to publish the forecast like today's, but in written form. Right, so you basically get the forecast. So of course there's a community channel, right? So we together, so we just concluded the FSA, right? So for Catherine, right? So now on the 30th of what we call January, right? So it's a very interesting, you know, we managed to Catherine has showcased how to read a Qimen forecast, a Qimen consult in extreme length, right? So for those of you, you know, who want to have the replay, do go in and sign in and see whether, you know, you can get the replay or not. Right, so no, there are no any community things happening at this current moment, right? So but of course, you know, if you want a group of people to support you, certain question you want to ask, right? So all those kind of things, you can go to the community channel, join us together, right? So then this is going to be the month, right? So Keng Yin, so every single time the month, there's going to be one pillar that combine naturally with that particular month pillar, and there's one pillar that clashes naturally with it. So for people who has this pillar in your Bazi chart, right? So let's say that you got a Yi Hai inside your Bazi chart, or, you know, you got a Jia Shen inside your Bazi chart. Your connection with this particular month is more intense. That's it, right? So don't go the good and bad route, right? So some people say that, oh, it's clashing, it's bad. No, sometimes certain things, certain changes require a clash to activate it, right? Like some people doesn't learn their lesson until they're being slapped lah, right? So it combine, doesn't mean that somebody give you something, you know how to use it. Combine mean that things are given to you, right? So but does not mean that you know how to use the thing that's given to you. A lot of people take things for granted, just put it in a way, right? So so that's like no good, no bad, but they are what we call their interaction is going to create a higher intensity for you, right? So depending on which of it, right? So of course, just now when you look at the Bazi chart, this month is the month of Qi, right? So it seems like many months is month of Qi already. But anyway, we will go to the month of Qi. Right, so if you take a look at the month of Qi, is the HODO. Now HODO combination, right? So the Geng Yin HODO combination is the classical combination of rebellious follower. Right, so you can imagine the DO as the law, the HO as somebody who is refusing to follow the law, right? So this one, a lot of time they say that it invoke a litigative issue, right? Invoke litigative issue. So for those of you who have a G Earth as your DayMaster, it's not saying that you will get into litigative issue. It's just saying that if you don't manage the month situation well, seems like there's going to be a lot of litigative issue that's going to come. So litigative issue here include a lot of things like visitation to government office. It could be just a contract stamping. Yeah, right. So like Malaysia, we are pushing on to every single contract need to be stamped because our lembaga hasil need money. So if you don't stamp, they will fine you, right? So you can see that this year there's going to be increasingly more people who's going to go to the lembaga hasil to do stamping, right? So it could be just that only, right? Or it can be a full-fledged being sued by people, right? So depending on which side of it, right? So that's one way to interpret the energy pattern, right? So that is how the traditional people will be interpreting it, right? So but if you open up the scope a bit and really understand the HODO, right? So the HODO happen when certain structure probably is not working anymore, right? So DO represent rules regulation, right? So this is like a cliff bank, right? So you guys seen road, Malaysia, a lot of road, they cut through mountain. Right? A lot of people like to build road cutting through mountain. So what happens when you cut through mountain and build a road? There's a certain section of the road that has been hollowed out. This section become weakened. There's pressure from the mountain pushing the soil downward, right? Then you hollow out a certain part, so that pressure is not dispersed correctly. So what happens is that you will get things like a landslide, right? You get things like a landslide when it is, right? So a HODO basically is telling you that your current rules and regulation is not working for the people anymore. So that's why you have this rebellious thing coming up. So of course, if you are the controlling fella, you will always say that, the rebellious fella is no good lah. The rebellious fella will always say that the controlling fella is no good. So now, no right, no wrong, but things are collapsing. Because that's it. Things are collapsing. So this is a opportunity. If you want to see it, this is an opportunity, or this is a lesson for you that certain things need to be changed. Right, so sometimes things happen, right? Is not blaming the circumstance, blaming people doesn't work one. All right, so because why? After blaming, someone still need to do the cleanup. So that's the situation, right? So when you have this particular situation happening, means that certain things need to be tweaked. That's it, right? So your rule may need to be upgraded into the newer version, right? So like for our law has been longest been lagging behind in terms of the internet enforcement. We actually don't have a lot of internet related law. So if you bring somebody on court on internet related thing, the court actually don't know how to handle. Right? You don't have the necessary act to handle this. You don't have this, you don't have that. A lot of things is basically not working. Right? So yeah, right. So those are the stuff that require tweaking. So when this sort of situation happening, right? So for Qi, you yourself, you find out that what are the things around that is actually not working anymore, that it is breaking apart, right? And rebellious is going through the particular system. It is trying to break the system, right? So it is also a very good time for you to test whether your system is per se fair or not fair. Right, whether per se fair or not fair, whether it is useful or not useful. Certain rule need to be broken. Right, so if you have been using that particular way for like long time, it doesn't work anymore. Right, so it's time for you to upgrade the rule. Right, so this is basically the message for people who has G-Earth as the DayMaster. It is time to reassess your belief, your rules, your regulation, and see whether it still fits the current environment. If it doesn't fit, it's time for an upgrade. Right? It's time for a maintenance to basically be done. Right? So for too long, you have not done maintenance before, maybe. Right, so let's take a look at Qimen metal. Right, so Qimen metal is friends and indirect wealth. Right, so friends and indirect wealth. Now, friends and indirect wealth, usually when you have the friend star, the message is called sharing. When you have the rock wealth, which is, you know, the sin metal, is called competition. But both of them, the nature is the same. Right, one is you willingly take out certain things to be shared to other people. Another is people coming in to take things away because, you know, they are more powerful than you, right? So like this particular thing, you know, when you have different star and indirect wealth, it means that when more people does the same thing, you can find the solution faster. That's it, you know, when some people, right? So like, for example, the development of the what we call EV, electric car, right? So the development of the electric car, you know, you like it, you don't like it, Tesla is the first guy who ever broke the code, or, you know, the way electric cars supposed to move and allow it to be cheap. And what we call Tesla did is that Tesla take out all the patent for the electric drive and just give it to everybody so that everybody can work on it. So that's why you can see the leap and bound that the electric vehicle has gone in this, you know, short, very short period. Right, so you can see that it goes leaps and bounds because everybody was allowed to what we call develop the electric drive. Right, so the AI also is the same. Right, so when AI, the first large language model, was introduced, you know, by OpenAI, they decided to make it open source for everybody. Right, so then, you know, everybody took the thing and, you know, go and develop it. And then today you got the sea of, you know, AI program that basically is happening right now. Right, so it's that sort of situation when you have friend star and indirect wealth. Indirect wealth is basically opportunity. So you send a lot of people out to work on a lot of opportunity. So with this particular activity happening, you will see that some are doing better than others. So when you see that some are doing better than others, then you start to know that, you start to identify that which opportunity actually makes sense. Right, so it's like, you know, random development in the AI world, right? So certain develop this direction, develop that direction. Some AI, you know, development basically is completely useless. Some become more valuable. Right, so once you know this, then you know how to target what are the good things. Right, so by the way, you see the photo. It is a wood carving competition, chainsaw wood carving competition. That's it. Kevin, you watch this type of stuff sometime lah. It's amazing. You see how they, you know, use the chainsaw, you know, it's like one cut, then suddenly you have a bird coming out of it. Yeah, right. So, you know, it's this sort of competition. Now, is everybody is given the same wood, everybody is using the same chainsaw, but how come the product is different? Ever wonder? Right? Ever wonder, right? So this basically tells you that everybody who is given the same basis, you know, given the same environment, you can still reach a different outcome, right? So, and this particular reaching a different outcome is done through the entire idea of sharing things out to people. So the purpose is to identify who has discovered the best deal. Then once you know who has discovered the best deal, then, you know, you can target on that particular part of the deal, right? So, you know, if you want some deal to be passed down to you, you know, please go and look for some Qimen metal DayMaster people, right? So that basically helps out with the entire situation. All right, sin metal. So just now tell you that sin metal, we have the rock wealth, right? So rock wealth, direct wealth. Now rock wealth, direct wealth is another one of the omnibus in the world of Bazi. So the hurting officer, direct officer is one. They hated this. Though the rock wealth, direct wealth also is one of the one that they hated a lot. Right, this one is the traditional reading method is someone will come and take things away from you, right? So that's what raw wealth is. You'll lose your money, someone will take the money away from you. Now again, the actual translation is somebody has found a better way to do things. Now, money is not for you to taken away. No, money is somebody who paid you, right? So somebody who pay you, right? So the person who's supposed to pay you decide to pay someone else. Why? The fellow must be offering something better. Now, whether the fellow is offering scam stuff or not is not your problem. But the other party's offer, the other party's promise is more appealing than yours. That's it. It's very simple. So that's why money is channeling to the other party. So it's time for you to learn, right? So by the way, the picture is the Indiana Jones. This one is I call taking a sword into a gunfight. Right? You lose ground because your technology is no good. Right? So this kind of circumstance is actually for you to sit down and start really start questioning yourself whether you are at par or not. Whether the offering that you're offering to people is at this current moment, if you view on it, it is at the level that is required, right? So like a lot of businesses is still stuck in the old known AI time, and their turnaround time is just too slow. Like for example, a lot of design house, they are still relying on the stuff to do the design and rendering, whereas some newer organization, they are fully on AI design already. So the AI can churn out like 6, 7, 8 different design, in a short span of, let's say, a half an hour of what we call prompting, whereas you are 1 week also cannot come up with one design. Right, that's basically one of the thing that is happening. So it's very apparent in the what we call your interior design world right now. It's very apparent, right? So especially if you're trying to fight with those from China, right? You fight from those China, you talk to them straight away, they can give you a drawing. Almost within a few hours, they will throw the drawing to you and ask you, is this what you're looking for? Whereas if you deal with the Malaysian counterpart, right, 1 week also cannot give you anything. So how to fight, right? So how basically to fight? So this one is a question of how can you refine yourself? It's a self-refinement type of question, right? It is not to worry about my money is being taken away, for it. And it is also good in the what we call in the beginning of the year. So you can actually right now plan for your own personal upgrade. So already you are lacking in this particular area. This particular area require your attention, right? So it's time for you to upgrade. So upgrade means spend some money to acquire new machinery. I don't know, new staff power. I don't know, a new knowledge base. I don't know. That one basically up to you to do your own analysis on yourself. But there are certain things that require upgrade. So that's why I want you to look beyond the surface level analysis of raw wealth, direct wealth. People come and take away your money. You need to understand why people are successful in taking away your market. Okay, right? So please do that. And then you got your rainwater, right? So rainwater, that is me. Right. So this is a whole new world, Aladdin. Right, so IREG, now IREG is not generally negative, but in the again, so inside the world of Bazi analysis, IREG is bad. Okay, it is called the owl stealing the food, owl san tuisek, right? So it is a situation, right? So now again, the general real situation is an eccentric fella. Too much imagination, I just put in with too much. EG is already a very imaginative idiot. Plus IR is another imaginative idiot. Okay, so you put these two imaginative idiots. I don't know, this fella is delusional. Anything is possible. The good part of it is under this particular state, anything is possible, right? So why this is bad is because you are dealing with external world, right? So now, in your world, everything is possible, but externally, when people look at you, they think you're crazy, right? So the word usually used is eccentric, right? So you display this eccentricism thingy. So now the challenge is you need to keep it to yourself. If you are seeing imaginary friends, around, right? You are seeing imaginary friend around, or you put it in the good way is that you are seeing possibility that other people are not seeing, right? So other people, they can't see the possibility ahead, whereas you are able to see the possibility ahead. So right now is the question of bridging between the imaginary world and also the real world, that the bridge need to be built, right? It is not that you go in there, imagine, right? So in the olden day, the problem is because of lacking of resources, whatever that's being imagined is actually very difficult to be built. But today is much more easier, right? So today is much more easier to do. So now the question is, how good are you in materializing? All right, so or aka in the world of commerce is prototyping. You need to prototype the idea out, right? Because the other party cannot see, man. Nowadays very easy, so again, you can use a lot of AI to do your storyboarding. You can do a lot of AI to basically help you to do a lot of your prototyping, right? All those kind of activity is basically all well and good, right? So not a very difficult activity to do today, right? So but you as the person, you need to know that you are currently still in a dream state. The thing that you are thinking of, probably the technology haven't been created yet. Right? So you are probably being too ambitious. Okay, right? So be careful of those side of things that is basically happening, right? So you need to put in some what we call concrete work into the materialization of the activity, or else you look a bit crazy. But again, it's the beginning of the year, right? So it's the first of the month. It's okay to be a little bit on the dreamy side of things, right? So at least you would have a list of stuff to do, right? So that what are the things that you want to attempt, what are the things that you want to do. At least you would have that, right? So I can't force you to go and implement it. That's not something that I can do, right? So but it's up to you, for you have your awareness, if you are run water, that you are a bit on the imaginative side today, right? So then you have the what we call the Kui Water, the direct resource and hurting officer, right? So hurting officer always in the Chinese metaphysics world, right? So the 7 killing hurting officer Rockwell, this 3 is always labeled as a bad guy, unfortunately. Okay, they always labeled as a bad guy, right? So then the direct, now you see the direct resource is actual fact. So in the world of Chinese metaphysics, if you say that these things are factual, it's actually governed by direct resource, right? So the indirect resource govern rumors, right? Indirect resource mean that it may be real, it look real on the surface, but if you dwell deeper, it collapses. That is called indirect resource. So the crazy guy run water, right? Direct resource is deeply rooted factual things, right? So hurting officer is transmission of information, right? So this one is to transmit the truth. Saying the truth is not good. One man, unfortunately, again, external world, no one want to listen to the truth. Everybody want to listen to their version of truth. They do not want to listen to the truth, right? So this is like an approaching storm. You hear the thunder, you hear the wind, right? You hear the thunder, you hear the wind. You don't like it, but it's gonna hit your house. Okay, right? So this is all about preparation. So the what we call the challenge here is that the person will be labeled as a doomsayer. That's the basically challenge. It is not about the truth. It is not about the information that you give them. It's the entire experience for the people around. They may not like it. That's it. But even if you're right, so there is been enough people in this world that has proved that the truth does not set you free, right? So the truth basically put you in jail. Like for example, the Crimson Horse, the Check Ma Hongyong, right? So he wrote the what I call Chai Wang, right? The guy Chai Wang, the historian Chai Wang, he wrote this Bing Ting Guai Gun, right? So it's called the Bing Ting Year Turtle Script, right? So turtle scroll, whatever. It's actually a historical accounts of things that has happened in the Bing and Ting year, right? So Bing and Ting year, specifically the Bing horse and also the Ting goat year. These 2 years is that, and many of it is talking about a collapsation of the empire, which happened to be true lah, right? So because he's talking about historical event, right, then he presented this to the Song Dynasty emperor, which happened to be fighting with the Mongol and losing. So he said that look like you are from historical thingy, look like your empire is going downwards. So the fellow got jailed and exiled, right? So it's this sort of situation. Dealing with this particular circumstance, you need to understand that even you are right, you might be wrong. So the strategy is you speak your piece and then move on. That's the best strategy. It's not to be there to aggravate the situation. It's like fire alarm lah. Fire alarm you pull already, right? People don't want to run, is their problem lah. Fire alarm is designed to ask you to get out of the building, but after pulling the fire alarm, if you don't want to get out of the building, which is again very normal, at least in Malaysia, if you hear the fire alarm, the first thing that comes into your brain is not to run out the building. The first thing is, I need to call the operator, the front desk, and ask whether this is real or not. This is Malaysian. Right? So I did emergency response for my company for 8 years. So this sort of stuff pretty normal. Okay, right? So take care of yourself in terms of that, right? So then what is this? Hey, hello, give me the menu. Right, so Jia, right, so you got 7 killing and friend star, right? So 7 killing, again, 7 killing is one of the what we call the bad guy star, or omnibus, not really that good star, they don't like it, right? So 7 killing induce aggressive fighting in the olden day lah. So in the olden day, it induced aggressive fighting, so you may get hurt, very normal, common is to get killed by people, right? So that's why they don't really like it, right? So this circumstance, 7 killing friend star, is really about cutting things into size, right? So for a tree bark, the tree itself is actually useless unless it is carved into the correct shape to be used, right? So in this particular state, right, so the 7 killing friend star, one of the interpretation is time for you to trim your social circle, right? Your friend star is basically people around you, man. People around you, friend star, right? So it's time for you to trim. Time for you to trim mean that you need to come and time for you to assess, with, of course, this is going to be assessment against your 2025. Maybe 2025 you have a lot of relationship that you have initiated, you have built. I think it's time for you to cut some of it, right? So some of it are obviously useless, right? So they are useless, they don't really help a lot with everything that you're doing, right? So whether it helps you move yourself forward or not, right? So now you want to be in a delusional state of telling yourself that maybe one day, whatever it is, that one up to you, right? But reality is reality, whether the particular person or the particular community or the particular activity that you are in, right? So this one include also your own personal activity. Maybe you pick up watching a certain Korean drama. I don't know lah. You need to ask yourself whether that Korean drama is driving you to the direction that you require, or is it a distraction that causes you to not move. You have to ask yourself that particular frank question, right? So then it's time for you to cut off, chop off the stuff, right? So all the useless edges, useless things, is all getting cut off, right? So is being removed, right? So your things that is around you, right? So yeah, right? So of course, in this particular situation, then there are gonna be those who get cut off by you. They are gonna complain a little bit, which is very normal. They say that oh, right now you are cutting us off, blah blah, whatever it is. You will have this sort of things happening, right? So if you are belonging to the people who are very cares about other people's viewpoint, then you may get bogged down by this, right? So this is like branch tree having too much branches. By the way, for those of you who have seen that the tree on the road that keep on continues getting cut, and then say that, oh, why they cut the tree is because they got too many rubbish branches. When you got too many rubbish branches, the entire tree become too heavy, right? Especially places that has snow, right? So and then the tree doesn't know how to, it's not designed to move the snow. Then it become more and more heavy. then the tree cannot hold. Then for us in Malaysia is the wind. So when you are in a rainy season, the wind is very high, and if you don't cut the tree up, then it will fall, then damage will happen. Same thing. So that's why you need to see whether the people around you are really start burdening you, or whatever activity that you're currently doing is burdening your body. Right? So this combination is very good for those of you who want to go diet, slimming. This one is good. Okay. Then you got your Yiwood. Yiwood is DO and Rockwell, right? So DO Rockwell is generally pretty okay. So because the direct officer is able to control the Rockwell. So this is, you know, the rough translation is discipline in spending, right? It's basically discipline in spending. So this is control growth, right? So this is, you know, giving a framework, put a rules and regulation into a person that, you know, is all over the places, right? So if you take a look at it, the growth of certain shrub and tree goes all over the places, but when you put it into a frame, it will grow very nice. You know, like for example, your this one is grapes, right? For example, grapes, right? So grapes, they will always build a frame for the grapes to, you know, hang on to, latch on to, so that they can get the most amount of sunlight. Right, the quality of the grape is actually decided by the sunlight exposure, right? So because it has to do with the sugar conversion, right? So it's those type of, you know, situation, right? So on certain situations, certain amount of restraint is actually required for you to form a good, right? So this one is compete in a guided market. So you go into a market whereby there are what we call defined rules and regulation, then you can, you know, compete in a more, you can call it compete in a more fair manner, right? So you can compete in a more fair manner where everybody knows what is the rules and regulation. So this is a little bit like, you know, going into platform like what we call your social media platform, right? So social media platform has set of rules and regulation that's been inbuilt into the system, which you call the algorithm. Anybody can go in and do posting, right? No one stop you from going in. You know, YouTube, your Instagram, your Facebook, you know, they generally don't you know, stop you from going to posting unless you are posting things that is, you know, obviously violates the, you know, rules, right? So, you know, so you go in there, so everybody can go in there, so everybody get the fair chance of doing your post, right? So then, you know, the algorithm will run, and then the algorithm will basically apply to everybody, right? So it's those type of situation. So it's a controlled growth situation. So a lot like, you know, your vertical farm, horticultural farm, where everything is basically in control. Lighting is in control, your air temperature is in control, you know, your nutrient, everything is basically under control. And while in this control situation, the rest of the people compete with each other, right? So it's sort of like a more healthy situation. So for the person who is doing this, right? So you need to start to take a look at everything that you have right now, your portfolio or stuff that you have right now. Those that are wasting money, which is rock wealth, unfortunately. Those that are wasting money, I think is time for you to cut off. Right? A little bit similar to your what we call your Jiawood brother. Right, so this one is to selectively find out what is draining your resources, what is doesn't make sense anymore, and, you know, time to kick that particular portion out of your ecosystem. Okay, right? So that's the activity that you are supposed to do this particular month. Right, so Ping Fire, right? So Ping Fire, indirect wealth and also indirect resource, right? So indirect wealth, indirect resource. So indirect wealth is talking a lot about opportunity, right? So indirect wealth is basically a marker for opportunity, stuff that probably will give you certain amount of return, whereby it is lesser in terms of the things going out, right? So indirect resource is the curiosity energy of exploration. Right, so this one is to explore certain opportunity, right? So like one of the current, what I said that the current really wow technology is the drone. Right, so right now drone, you know, can do a lot of things, and one of the things that the drone can do right now is to become artificial sunlight. Yeah, you can basically mount a high powered light onto a drone and then fly the drone upward, and then the drone can actually become like an artificial sun, follow you all over the places. It is very, very useful for doing what we call the search and rescue. Right, so this is really very useful for search and rescue. Right, so search and rescue, one of the toughest things is the sunlight. Because once sunlight is gone already, very difficult for you to do search and rescue work. So to extend the hour on search and rescue, this sort of lights actually helps a lot in terms of illuminating the particular area. Right, so can you see that, you know, this one is, you know, a opportunity or a curious exploration of the use of the drone. Right, so you know, for the Ping Fire, you know, they will have a lot of this sort of, you know, opportunity to take a look at it. Right, so of course, the negative part of it is that you actually don't know what you're looking for. Right, so indirect resource, indirect resource, you know, because of being a curious star, it actually does not have a target. You just capable with everything, right? So yeah, no, the light is shining, but does the light know what it's supposed to shine on? No, the light doesn't know what it's supposed to shine. It just shines everything. So if the person is non-directional, you will find a lot of interesting things. Yeah, right. So but you don't have a target, right? So this is like the joke that inside the internet that you have always been reading, you know, the search party is searching for the missing person. The missing person is inside the search party searching for itself. Right? So yeah, you know, this basically means that everybody around actually doesn't know who they are searching for. They are just searching. They are just searching where the person who is missing is already inside the search party. So how? Right, you may end up in this sort of situation. But the interesting part is that you start to see possibility. You start to see possibility, you know, right? So no, but this possibility is more concrete than the one that Run Water is having. Right, the one that Run Water is having is complete imaginary. This is at least you've seen things that is there. The problem is when you see so many opportunities but really don't know what works or not. Right, don't know what works or not. So how do you find out whether what works or not? Grab a G-Earth, throw it in. Because G-Earth is, you know, share everything out for people to test. So you don't know, right? You don't dare to test, right? Share this out to a G-Earth. G-Earth will bring their gang and try it out, right? So this means that, you know, the G-Earth, we have a team of fellow, you know, who will mount different drone on different light mount on different drone. So when you start mounting blah blah blah, one of them will fly properly. Right, that's the idea of testing. Okay, right, so your Think Fire got direct well, direct resource, right? So direct well, direct resource. Now these two at least they are the, in the Bazi world, they are the good guy team, right? So direct well has to do with effort, right? So then direct resource has to do with knowledge, right? So diligent, consistent effort, right? So it's about, so this one basically is okay one, right? So basically it's okay. So this one, you know, I give you the chainsaw, right? So a chainsaw is a really a refinement in technology when it comes to cutting tree, right? So now we begin with the axe. Maybe before axe is even begin with the axe, you know, which is a tool that is pretty okay. So right now we have a lot of mechanized tools that is used to do the same job, right? So we are still doing the same job. It's still the idea is still cutting tree, right? So it's still the same job, right? So this one is basically refinement, right? So like again, direct resource is deepening of knowledge. So the direct wealth is actually diligence in execution. Direct wealth is not money, man. No, money come if you are able to deliver the product. Understand that money don't come from the sky. So this is the part that a lot of people get wrong when they do reading. They say, oh, well, start, you're going to get money. No, you're going to get actual job, right? So once you go and do the job, you are diligent enough. Diligent enough means that you got the job completed. Once you does that, you would add into your knowledge base. Now you know what works. Okay, now you know what works. So the next iteration, when you go in, you could probably do faster, or you could probably get these things done with lesser mistake. Lesser mistake means that lesser amount of material is wasted. So the entire process gets compressed. So it's a compression process. You are much better at doing this particular work right now than other, right? So this is the case, if you want a hardworking workhorse, throw your work to a Think Fire. Right, so of course, in this particular situation, then, you know, I always say that one is the work worth your time? You could be passed in a work that completely is not worth your time, right? So how do you measure whether it's worth your time or not? Unfortunately, the easiest measurement is how much is being paid lah. That's the easiest measurement, by the way, right? So don't go like, oh, that's very money face, but that is the easiest one, right? So if it's same job, right, one pay you 100, one pay you 1,000, you know which one to do, right? So number two is basically, again, are you spending too much time in this particular work that you are neglecting other area of your life? And that's the part of it that you need to do a bit of a consideration, right? So it may be in other area of your life, may be a situation whereby you are spending too much time at work that you have neglected your your growing up children. You don't see your children growing up, right? So most of last generation is having this problem, right? So they go work, and then they leave the children in what we call hometown. So they hardly come back to see the children, right? So next thing all the children grow up and don't need him anymore. Sad, right? It's a sad thing, right? So that one is last generation. This generation don't know lah, right? So this generation, how they raise their children, not very sure. Okay, right? So it's those type of situation. Generally this is good. Generally, if you have what we call certain project that you are doing, you will make a lot of headway in this, right? So if this is the beginning of the year, it actually signal that you, in terms of achievement, you'll be quite ahead of the rest of the people. But the rest of the people is still, it's like, what should I do? Is this the right way to go? This gonna be beneficial to me? Or you already get the work done already. You already presented your first completed work to people to collect money. Other people are still blur case. Rainwater, the most blur case one. Okay, last one is worth, right? So worth, you got your EG7K, right? Like EG7K in the olden day, this is a hallmark of a leader. It's a hallmark of a leader, right? So this is basically a problem-solving machine, right? EG7K is a problem-solving machine because EG is a creative mind. 7K is the king of brute execution. Brute execution. That's basically 7 killing, right? So you combine this together. This is a person that has a lot of solution that they are willing to go and test, right? So like the advancement of what we call the war, right? Advancement of war is do you know that most of our technology come from war? Unfortunately, most of the technology that we basically use today, a lot of them come from development inside war zone, right? Because inside war zone is unforgiving, right? So when it's unforgiving, whatever that you design is usually on the very efficient side in doing things, right? So like for example, the ramming of the what we call city wall, ramming of the city wall, right? So one of the technology is basically the battering ram, right? So to have this sort of technology going into town, right? So before the battering ram was invented, right? So it's very difficult to break a wall, right? So of course right now there are more and more missile technology that basically come in. So you can see the progression of technology and solving problem, right? So basically ramming down the wall represent a problem. The battering ram represent the technology that's been invented to break the problem. So this one translate into your thing is that certain blockages that has been bothering you. Maybe there are certain things that you tried to do last year, 2025, that wasn't working out very well. Somehow this particular month, you get the idea. I haven't tried this before. Or, I can maybe do this. And then when you apply this over to your solution, right, suddenly work, right? So then, you have that thing or, okay, you might feel like, why did I do it the last time? Right? So now technological advancement always create a situation whereby there are some people who are not ready for the advancement, which is very normal. So a lot of time I tell people when electricity was first introduced, the candle people doesn't really like electricity. The candle people has created a lot of stories about the danger of electricity, right? So when the car was introduced, the horse people wasn't very happy with it. When the internet was introduced, the newspaper people wasn't very happy with it. There is always a generation of people that is not happy with advancement, right? So they are not comfortable with advancement. I think it's fine, right? To me, it's fine. right? So for you to pursue your advancement, right, so it's something that you are doing to make things better. So as you see, as long as the moment you solve the problem, the moment you open the door, right, you will see that a lot of people that, you know, once stand on the other side would quickly switch side. It's because they don't have the ability to do the solution. So, you know, they rather stand on the safe side of this. But once it's proved that it will work, right, you can see that these people default the fastest. That's how world work, right? So this is your all your 10-day master forecast, right, for this particular month, right? Look like I cannot go back. I need to do a bit on the menu item. Can't go back to the big screen, right? So right, so now this is what your 10-day master is. You know, hopefully you'll be able to use the information to plan out a bit. At least what we call forecast is to be aware of what is basically happening around you, and the more important part of it is actually to fully leverage or fully use the energy to move yourself another step forward in this exciting year of Fire Horse. Right, so, you know, enjoy, you guys, the Firehouse. Another 3 more days for the peak switch over, right? So, you know, we will continue with the sharing of information as time goes by. All right, guys, see you all again. Bye.